Hey, what's going on? Quick one today. I had one of those shower thoughts, and I was thinking back to when I first started, doing projects on my own. I was still an employee for a contractor, but I knew I wanted to go out on my own, and I was trying to build up whatever I had going on to get to the point where I thought I was ready. And first of all, if you're going to wait until you're completely ready to pull the trigger on something, chances are you'll never pull the trigger because there really is never a time where you're fully ready for something. Sometimes you just have to dive into it and get it done and figure things out as you go. So that's just a little side note. But the topic that this video is about is like building a portfolio. So namely, I'm talking about pictures. In construction, remodeling, most of the time we're doing things that are supposed to be visually appealing. Hopefully they are. And gosh, I'd say maybe the majority of contractors I talk to don't really prioritize taking pictures of their work. And so when it comes time for us to build up their marketing strategy, they don't often have very many pictures for us to work with. And it's really unfortunate because a lot of these folks have built tons of really cool stuff. When they tell me about it, it's like, man, that sounds so cool. I wish you had pictures of that. And especially when you're starting out, you probably can't afford to hire a professional photographer to come in at the end of your projects. But if you're doing like high-end remodels or, projects that are of a certain size and caliber, you should probably hire a professional photographer to come take photos of those things. And sometimes you can just price that into the project, but those pictures are so important, and those pictures can end up selling you thousands of dollars worth of projects in the future. Your alternative is to just pull out your phone and take pictures, and that's a totally fine option too. Like almost all the pictures on our remodeling website are just taken by us. I do have a professional camera now, and I've used it a few times, but the majority of our pictures are taken on one of these. In fact, a lot of the older ones are taken on one of those little tiny digital cameras from, the Stone Age. So, but the point is, like, you have to be taking pictures, and you want to try to take good ones. Don't just like snap a few pics. Like I'm super guilty of that. When I'm finishing up a project, like I'm cleaning up my tools, I'm on my way out, like I don't really want to stop and take a bunch of pictures. I'll like whip out my phone, snap a couple, and then leave. But then later on I look at them and I'm like, man, I wish I would have moved that toilet paper out of the way, or, cleaned up that little bit of garbage on the floor. So, if you need to build a portfolio, take the extra time to do that stuff. And just here's a couple tips for that. Like, first of all, when you're taking pictures, make sure the lighting's as good as it can be. A lot of times you might have work lights around. Just set those up so that the lighting is good. A dark picture is really hard to recover, but a bright picture, you can usually make it darker pretty easily. Another thing is just clean up the garbage, pick up the scene a little bit. If there's a flower vase or something over in the corner, grab it, put it in the picture. Get kind of good at being a photographer, because if you can make these pictures look nice, it's going to make, people feel better when they look at them, and that's going to help them like your work. And then the third and final tip I have for you is to think of it through like your customer's perspective. Like when your customer's thinking about their bathroom, like what do they care about? They probably aren't super concerned with that piece of baseboard behind the toilet. Like, sure, it needs to be installed correctly, but that's not where their eyes and their priorities are. They're thinking about, okay, when I'm in my bathroom, I'm going to be standing in front of the sink. I'm going to be using the toilet. I'm going to be getting in and out of the shower. Like, what are the things that they're going to look for, and try to get those composed in the shots that you take. If you can take just one or two really good pictures, that's way better than 100 really crappy pictures. So, moral of the story, take pictures, take good ones if you can. Go online and look at some other companies or you can go to Pinterest even and look at pictures there. There's like millions of them. Come to understand what really good photography looks like and do your best to get your photos to look like that. Because when you've got a portfolio of 20 or 30 project photos that look like they could be in a magazine, it's going to be 100 times easier to sell those projects to those clients who are willing you to pay you what you're worth. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching.